Okay, folks, happy Sunday. Okay. All right, let's fire some of these lights up. So this is our Shropshire Slasher build that we started working on yesterday. It's actually taken quite a bit of time to build it. Mainly due to fit and finish things. Put this on here to try to avoid touching it as we go along. It's extremely pokey here. Extremely pokey. All right, we got some color matching things to do. And once that is done, we are going to clear coat it with a matte finish and give it a brown wash. So, with that said, we need to get some of these color matching things on here. So the first color we're going to do is red. Let's grab all my reds, the three of them anyways, the three Vallejo reds. And it's probably going to be that one. The one they like to call Scarlet. And we'll get some water here going. Now I remember what I forgot to get yesterday. It's more of this cardboard. And the store I get it at is not open on Sundays. This is going to be the closest one. This has a little bit of orange to it. A wee bit. We can dispense with this for the time being. We're going to do color matching red down here. Actually, we might actually do blue, but we got to color match the Union Jack. We have to do that. Let's see how close we are. That's really close to this color. So when you have coverage issues, just, so you're not covering it with a bunch of different colors, just take the paint, and what's worked for me is just come in, kind of stipple it on. There was a Hot Wheels logo on here I really didn't want a part of. It's not that I don't want people to know it's a Hot Wheels. It's like I'm trying to make a vehicle that's not an actual Hot Wheels. I'm not trying to do a little Hot Wheels small. Now we're gonna have to tinker with the white here, because let's fill all this with red. We're probably gonna have to come in here and rebuild that. Put that damn Hot Wheels logo in the wrong place. Okay. Damn near the same red. I'm actually thinking of actually doing this blue down here at the bottom, and just follow that. We'll see. Let's take one step at a time. Same, got to do the same repairs here. Reparations. Okay, that's going to be red. Like I said, we'll have to touch it up some. This is a primer, but this will do. Missed a spot here. Of course, I have my contacts in with glasses for support, not contacts out. In the front of this grill, let's make sure we have a clear coating of the black. We also have these tail lamps down here, the headlight lights, not tail lamps. Good Lord, waiting for the coffee to kick in. I actually woke up before my alarm. I had to go back to sleep. I woke up at like 2:30 or something like that because I had coffee late. Okay. Just noticed something after I rinsed the brush. No big deal. All right, so we're going to put the grill on the side, panels there. We're going to leave that in a metallic color. And I don't mean blue. I don't mean this blue. I mean, metal color. This front pokey thing will also be metal color. The turret, however, we're going to color match it. At least the turret part, the Vickers water cooled part is not going to be the case on that. But the other part, we are going to color match it to metallic blue. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. It just needs to be similar. Or at least the sides of it. Otherwise, it's going to look like an eyesore. This thing's actually a lot of work. I mean, it's not really work. It's just time consuming. That's right. It's going to look pretty cool. Hopefully, be a fun vehicle to play with. All right, if I was going to match this Union Jack blue, which blue would I use? The blues are tricky, and the reason the blues are tricky is more than any other color, they look vastly different here than actually when they come out of the bottle. Now, some of these, actually, that's pretty close. Some of these, and some of them really misbehave. They're either too watery or they're a pain in the ass. Not all blues, just these that I happen to have. Now, am I in luck? And can I use this one? No, it's too light. I'm going to probably color match it or darken it up a little bit. That's what the black's for. That's pretty close. So let's go with this. This isn't the same metallic blue. This is the blue that's on the flag. Good morning, Ben. Back on your computer, huh? When's your new computer arrive? And what made you decide you needed to get another one other than the key, the E key not working? Yeah, I think we'll needs to be a little bit darker. Can always bring it up. That's pretty close. I don't know why this mass murderer is this patriotic, but he is. You have to ask him. Not sure it should be next week, mostly because I can't play most games released in the last 5 years. So what is the game that you are dying to play with this new computer? Bam, the computer arrives. What's your go-to game you've been wanting to play? I got off the after the show yesterday. I had downloaded a game that my daughter had wanted to play for some time because none of the driving games work on the new Xbox for whatever reason. I'm not sure. So I downloaded the new Mexico Forza Horizon thing, and I've been playing that a little. I came back kind of unsatisfied with it, and then yesterday I'm like, all right, let me get something that let me get some balance in my life. So I went ahead and actually in the car, I looked through the cars you could buy, and I bought the car that's the closest to my own car. I don't have an STI, but I do have a WRX. So they're damn near the same thing, other than the price tag on them. I test drove an STI a couple years ago. I'm like, yeah, it's just worse gas mileage and about the same thing. I'm not going to modify mine, so I don't really care that much. So I went and bought that car and then started doing some races, and I did really well with it. Um, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm a little, you give you these cars that are like like super cars. You're like, dude, you need to be able to. I mean, it's not like I don't know how to play the games, but kind of got to get in the groove with the slower cars before they throw a freaking Lamborghini on your ass. Just did you see that thing in Australia? No, what happened? Just all sorts. I want to get that Cyberpunk one and the Mafia Definitive Edition. The Cyberpunk one had bad reviews, I think. That doesn't mean you won't like it. Won't be as good as State of Decay, just saying. What happened in Australia? I did notice the flags were at half mast yesterday. I don't know what the hell that means. Probably shouldn't know. I probably should know, but I'm oblivious to current events. It's better that way. I got a guy. The reason I found out is we got a lot of flags in this neighborhood, and this one guy he put it at half mast. And when I came back in yesterday, I'm like, huh, I wonder what that's about. But I wasn't interested enough to actually look it up. The daughter was back with her old roommate. She stayed here a couple days before they went all went down on their cruise, and we watched a Jimmy Carr stand-up, and this one part of it, and I hadn't seen it before. I don't think this one, I'd seen it. That's why we decided to watch that one. He said something about Australians, and it was something along the lines of, you know, they welcome back. You did your time. It's just, oh man, a whole continent of convicts. It might have targeted a Hanukkah event. Man, people need to. Isn't it the same God? It's just a monotheistic, Hanukkah is like Jewish Easter. Why do you say that? Well, Easter always fluctuates what day it is. So does Hanukkah. Man, Easter sometimes is like in mid-March and sometimes it's like late April. Like, what the hell, man? I know Hanukkah's always in December, but sometimes it's like right on top of Christmas. It's usually before. Getting paints. All right. So this blue is close enough. I'm going to start. The blue on the turret needs to be more candy apple. Candy apple blue? Is that a thing? No, you get candy apple red, candy apple green, with candy apple blue. I don't know about that. There's my Coke. First Coke of the day. That's going to be my saying when I get to be famous. Let them do Coke. Instead of let them eat cake, let them do Coke. This stuff, of course, as I'm sniffling. Now, I don't know, I must be allergic to something. I don't know what it is. It's in this room, though. And there's nothing in this room. And it's not all the time. It just. Oh yeah. See, this is a psych. This looks fairly dark, and it ends up being a pretty grayish type color. This blue sucks. What color is this? Flat blue. Yeah, it's flat, all right. All right, let's go to this one. It's the only reason I have this many colors is they're just kind of a starting point. Intense blue. This is one that's got a clot color. They got this thick booger of paint that's, well, it's better than it being watery. You can always take some of the booger out and water it down. It thins out fine. Yeah, I think this is going to be, well, a little bit of metallic to it. This is something new I've kind of started doing because of the nature of the cars. A lot of them have metallics. Well, I think all car colors should have metallics in them. I know there's a trend, at least here in the United States, to have a lot of these cars in colors that don't have metallic flake in them, and they just look weird to me. Like that putty thing. I don't know if that's big in Europe, but all of a sudden, the last 5 years, they got all this like putty, like this taupe putty. It's ugly. I wouldn't want to drive a car that didn't have metallic flake in it. Honestly, I don't know why metallic flake started, but it did. Okay, this is intense blue. Now, yeah, it's a little different. It's a little bit more full-bodied. Let's see if I can find a spot on here. Man, that's pretty close. Now, if I add metallic to this, I don't think I'm going to use mithril silver, because mithril, if you think of the metallic colors almost like whether you're adding a white to it. Like this would be like adding the brightest of whites to it. So actually, we're going to do a little test. We're going to do a little test. And we're going to take this one, and we're going to take the next one down, which is it Iron Breaker? I believe it's Iron Breaker. Yeah. This is almost like, here's your white, this is your light gray, so to speak. You can slap myself. There's that mixing ball. All right. This is the glue one. That's fine. The glue's dry. We're going to take some of this. We don't need much. Yeah, this one's got a mixing ball in there too. It's just... And I do like these Games Workshop paints. I don't love these containers because you get the goop around you got the ring around the rim, ring around the collar. Okay, there's the two colors that we're going to mix in. Let's rinse this thing out, even though it's covered in glue. That's our glue applicator. All right. Let's thin these down just for workability. We're going to add a little bit of this color to it, and it should lighten the color up a little bit. How much? I don't know. Yeah, see, that's close enough. That's close enough. You know, by the time you put this thing on here, it just needs to look like, you know, it's part of the solution, not part of the problem. Back in black. And this is actually one of my favorite things to do. Is like, all right, we want the body color to be like it's part of the original. Not part of the original, but like the guys modified it. You know, like it came from the factory in this blue, and they wanted to put a blue turret on it, and they needed to, you know, make something that find a paint color that was similar. That's all. This has this custom hatch, which I'm thrilled to do, making it out of like literally garbage. You got any weapons for those vehicles? Are you planning on... Well, you live in Britain, man. They got all the 3D printers are in Britain. All the toys and the 3D printers and the taxes, they're all in Britain. Yeah, I made a mistake of making this a little too watery. So now we got to do a second coat on it. No big deal. We do want this to adhere fairly well because we are going to put a brown wash on top of this and the rest of the vehicle. And when we paint that on, we don't want to rinse this stuff off, and it take even longer to complete this. It's a tacky ass turret. Now the water cool part, we're leaving it alone. I'm actually going to I'm going to do this little ring in this color as well. I just don't want a vehicle that comes in one color and every single thing that I added on to it is obviously like metal or something. I want it to be a little bit more fused. You have all the taxes imaginable. Yeah. Well, I've said this before. I don't know. I'm looking at this from an outsider. Let's look at the good point. If you had a cottage industry, okay, let's say by some miracle, poof, I appear in England, right? And after I've learned the language, and I want to do this, like if I want to build, if I want to paint things for people, right? One of the problems here in the United States that you can't do this is basically you have no medical coverage. You basically have to work for an employer to be able to give you insurance so you don't go broke if you have to go to the hospital. It's very difficult. You know, the hospital doesn't necessarily cost that much if you have insurance. Like, I don't necessarily pay that, but you have to have the insurance. You don't have to have that in the UK, right? Because you get that. Everybody gets that. So that's an advantage. You know, if I wanted to do something like this. Now, weapons, you have to look at them, kind of got urged to find some normal racing rules to use them with. Street racing. Just don't do it in drag racing. You know how many games there are for your phone that involve drag racing? And man, I can't imagine anything more boring than that. So does that make sense about the whole cottage industry? Like, cottage industries probably can thrive better in the UK because, you know, you at least have some basic medical coverage in the UK. Now, you pay for it, and so does everybody else, you know, but place has got to be more walkable. I mean, I don't know how the village that Ben lives in, things maybe, you know, you might have everything close in the village, but if you want to go somewhere else, you're up a creek. But I can tell you from being in Spain, you don't need a car, you know, and it's like, I mean, I like having a car, but man, it's, you know, you got to make that much more money to afford a car and afford the damn insurance on it, which is really out of control. The fuel, I don't care about the fuel. Look, you don't drive a lot, you don't pay a lot of fuel, but you know, the insurance, you know, you got to pay for it, even if you don't get in a wreck, you know. Insurance is like, you know, almost like the mob. You're not allowed to use it. You got to pay for it. You're not allowed to use it. Now, I might actually put, the grading in this blue color. We'll make that decision after we make the stacks that come out of the side here. I guess this thing is rear engined. I don't know if this is based on a real vehicle. Is this based on some Morris something or another? Is it rear engined? Because the stacks are coming out of it. That'd be annoying to have the engine up here and then you'd have to go those pipes would have to be all the way underneath and somewhere in the middle of the compartment they'd have to pop up through it and come out. Well, that's talk about a built-in heater. That'd be a design flaw of the first magnitude. We have one shop in our village, and the owner knows the price gouging, and the owner knows it. The price gouging bastard. That sucks. The problem we have now, or maybe we've always had it, I don't want to get political, but you know, The U.S. used to be, at least you used to think it was a land of competition, right? And the government should just get involved, minimum, to make sure that nobody has any unfair advantages. But what we're finding out now is everybody's in on it. Everybody's fucking in on it, you know, lobbyist or whatever, and the consumer gets fucked. And we're all the consumer. All of us are the consumer. Competition is good. No competition is bad. You know, how many cell phone companies are there now? 3? What if there was 1? How much would that cell phone cost you? A lot more, you know? So anytime I hear about one company buying another one, I'm like, it pisses me off. So that's why I don't listen to the news, because that's not how I thought things worked. Maybe they always worked that way since 1800s, but didn't think it worked that way. All right, let's take this metallic color, which we may have to mix up again. We're not using a wet palette. I've just given up on using a wet palette. It's more trouble than it's worth. I don't mind remixing these colors. It's kind of fun. And the wet palette, sometimes things get applied wetter than I would want them to be. Let's test it on here. Oh, this is actually a little lighter than this color that was here. That's probably better. Well, it needed a second coat anyways. Yeah, the prices on things are just out of control. I mean, Florida was known as really cheap housing, and between all the people that left the northern states because of the heavy-handed restrictions that they did up there, in the last 5 years, the houses cost like almost triple than they did. So it was like growing by very little, very little, very little, zoom all the way up. So my village's shop, pub, library, and community center are community owned by people buying shares in them. I don't know how that works, but everybody's gouging everybody instead of just one guy. I don't know how that works. Hopefully it works okay for you. My only experience with anything community owned like that was when I lived in the condominium and we had an association. And there's reasons for it, but man, when you have a roof leak, it's like, well, we can't just fix it. We got to have a meeting and do an assessment. And we didn't meet quorum, so we have to have another meeting. And meanwhile, your repairs aren't getting fixed. Like, that system doesn't work. Okay, that's close enough for me. If I added a little bit, I would say that. Oh, that looks good, and I tinker with it some more. I'm a fucking hypocrite. The hypocritical painter. Okay, I think that is good. All right, let's paint these stacks in a metal color. What am I going to do here? I'm afraid of just doing the whole thing metal. It's going to look... Let's punt on that. Let's go ahead and do these. See how that looks. Decide what we're going to do with these. And this will probably follow suit with that. All right, so let's get the deepest, darkest of the metallic colors. Iron Warriors. Those fuckers are rust. I'm still stuck on it. Was it you with you guys? Or was it with my family? Shit. That I was like, I couldn't figure out what this one word was that I didn't like. And I can't remember what it is now. I need to write these things down. And I don't mean a nasty word. I just mean a word that this shouldn't even be freaking used. Bespoke is one of them. You say bespoke, you write bespoke, it looks like poor English. I bespoke. Man, I said this shit last week and I bespoke. It just sounds all sorts of wrong. Why don't you just say custom? The word I can't think of that I don't like is like a Western word. And Western, I mean like Old West word. I don't know what it is. The shop is run by volunteers, so they also can be better with prices. Parlay. I don't like parlay either. Sorry. But it's not one I... No, it's some Old West thing. God, there was this place in downtown Orlando that was like a downtown saloon, and they closed it down. It's called Church Street Station. And I want to say one of the names reminded me of that. Now what it is. It's like a word like playbill, but it's not play. I can even... Okay, when I say playbill, you can imagine the font it's written in, right? I hate that font. Okay? And this particular word, what is it, man? It's going to drive me crazy. Couture. Couture is another word that is just stupid. I'm sorry, it just shouldn't exist. And that's not even counting all the newisms, the newism words, the words that the Utes use. This generation, whatever the hell this generation is. Generation Z. I mean, the millennials were bad enough, and now you got Generation Z. Proprietor. Yonder. Oh, yonder is a bad word. Yonder's a bad word. No, it's like a saloon. It's a saloon type word. I'm 50-50 on saloon. You're getting old because when you're running out of things to complain about. No, I just think you encounter stuff that, stuff shouldn't be invented. If you're inventing stuff that's already been invented, go get a job. Like, what word was it? Oh, man. And it's a rather long word. It's at least 8 letters. Let's play a game. Guess what word bothers me? I don't know. Couture. I don't like couture. Couture and bespoke. Come on, man. trying to out fancy the fancy, you know? Proprietor doesn't bother me. Does it bother you? I got one of my daughter's best friends hates the word moist. I guess there's a whole problem with people that don't like moist. I don't have a problem with moist. As a matter of fact, there's many things that are moist that I happen to like. I don't have a problem with that word. It doesn't elicit a any nastiness. I'm going to go ahead and paint this in this color, even though I'm probably going to go over it with something that's flat. Because at the end of the day, this is gunmetal. It just happens to have paint over the water cooler thing. And I know the spikes are going to end up being this color. I'm thinking if I made it blue. Well, you know, the problem is that I think it probably should be all metal. It probably should be all metal. Well, this little kick plate down here is going to be metal. Kick plate, whatever the... You know, it's the whole paint what you know. You know this is, you know you don't want this to be a certain color. Paint it that color. It helps you makes it easier to make other decisions. Gandy dancer is another word I hate. That's a Western word. You guys know what that is. I explained it to my wife and daughter. Like, I don't know what that is. You do know what it is. You just don't know it's called that. Because it's a stupid fucking name for it. Somebody was on something when they named that thing. Gandy dancer. Need to try to mix up a metallic green shortly. I don't want to use a wash. You know, sometimes you just got to do things. And I've fallen in that whole thing of like, sometimes you like get analysis paralysis. Well, I don't know how things are going to, just start fucking painting. And you just end up, I just got to remember that sometimes. Sometimes I'm like so worried about something turning out bad. It rarely does. And if it does, I'm talented enough to be able to fix it. I guess I'm just so worried about wasting my time on something that may not be. And I need to get over that. I've gotten better about it, but it's still a problem sometimes. Just freaking do it. I have decades of experience trying to fix things. You know, well, what if I do it in the wrong order? It's not as efficient. Well, you spend all the time worrying about it, that if you just jump in and even do it in the wrong order, it's quicker. I got to remember that, you know, sometimes. Well, that's why I did this the order that I did it in. This is not the normal order I did things in, but I got home, I took a shower. I didn't want to go to the garage, so I didn't want to clear coat this first. That's my story. That's my story. Emporium is also one of those snake oil salesman sounding places. I guess I don't like Old West shit. I don't. I feel dirty. Man, what could it be? Okay, the front plate look. I mean, the front window looks exactly how I want it to look. Let's put this back on here so we don't have to squint our brain to see if we like it. Okay, I think we need to do the windows in metallic. Otherwise, it's just going to be too much damn blue. Too much blue. What's the blue come from? Scotland? Sorry, Scots. Man, I used to know a lot of Scots. I mean, people with the name Scott. If grumbling about things is a sign of getting old, then forgetting what you were grumbling about is too. No, that's like what do you call it? That's sped up. Okay, that looks better. That looks better. There's some. I'm not digging this down here. I'm not digging that down there. No, we're not done yet. So no need being hasty. Let's do. We should be able to grab it like this, and let's go ahead and do the spiky bits. And they are sharp. They are sharp. Hold on a second. Found the word. I found the word. I hate this word. And it's not necessarily a Western one. Ragtime. I hate ragtime. It just has a shitty connotation. I don't know. I don't know why that came up. Good. Man, I can go back to sleep now. Good Lord. Ragtime, playbill, same thing. God, I hate that word. Ragtime. It's that time of the month. What time is it? Ragtime. That's how I'm going to remember it. I'm never going to forget that word again. Ever. It's that time of the month. What time is it? Ragtime. You don't encounter that word very often, though. As opposed to all the new terms that the Utes come up with. Like, man, that's fire. You mean that's on fire? No, that's fire. No, fire is fire. Lava is close to being fire, but not quite. Ragtime, 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 ragtime. Moist ragtime. Well, make a Western team of all cars that have names I don't care for. That would be a good idea. It's the fucking ragtime. Ragtime Saloon Playbill Emporium. What about things being the shit, good or shit bad? I don't have a problem with that. So there's a saying in Spanish and a saying in English that are polar opposites of each other. So if you eat something and it's really good, it's good shit. But if you say something una buena mierda, it's basically a piece of shit. So they're at complete opposite odds with each other. It's kind of like the whole it's like the whole fanny thing with you guys. Your fanny's the other side. You don't sit on your fanny. You can't sit on your fanny in England. It would have to be like really big. You'd have to be really bow-legged to sit on your fanny. Oh, man. Ragtime. Yeah, ragtime's actually not Western, right? That's like ragtime's like what, early 1900s, something like that, like Mary Poppins time period. Where they had them little flat hats. Why did people go away from wearing hats? Well, why did people start wearing hats to begin with? Probably didn't have any products to keep their hair down. You go around like looking like Krusty the Clown if you don't have a hat on. But then you can't take the damn thing off because then you look like Krusty the Clown. Ragtime, you think is a Canadian word? Well, I guess it's a trade-off for. I think it's a trade-off for them learning to drive on the correct side of the road. Like, all right, we'll drive on the right. We'll drive on the correct side of the road, but we're gonna invent this word for you. It's gonna be annoying. All right, Hoser. And then And then Spain Spanish isn't the same what I'm used to. Like I go over there and they use colloquialisms and things that I'm not used to. So a nerd for them. So I found out, like a nerd is they call him a freaky, FRIKI, a freaky. I did not know that. That's not something that gets used over here in the New World. We left all the freakies over there. The hat thing was originally something religious about heaven and the soul. Really interesting. So it's like sneezing, and the bless you thing. Interesting. Who'd have thought this would be an educational program? That's cool. Would have never imagined that. Would have never imagined that. Okay. I think we're not going to know whether to make the right decision until we do the brown wash on it. And then we probably still won't know until we do the weathering. But the reality is I can do all those steps, and if I don't like it, I can go back and retro fix something so it's in line. I'm going to leave it alone because I kind of. I think I'm going to leave it alone. It's like, why did they stop the Union Jack there? Like, there had to be a good reason. Why did it stop there? And it's all because it had taxi written on the side of it. That's the only reason. I don't want this to have a taxi logo. Well, it's going to be a pretty cool vehicle, I think, when I'm done with it. I hope so. If not, we'll sell it. We'll sell this fucker. All right. So we need to clean up the Union Jack because it had that Hot Wheels logo on there. And the red's damn near the same as this one, but we're going to need the white first. Get the folk art. The folks. And we're going to need a thinner brush than that. One we can achieve a better level of control. Are you doing any bangers with miscolored doors and the ilk? Well, I'm doing one for sure. Well, I did. This one actually counts as one, or is this just some kind of fruit? Like, is this car in good shape and he's just some kind of fruity guy? But this has miscolored doors. But yeah, I've got one. The one I'm it's not going to be Wreck-It Ralph, and I don't know what happened to it. Honestly, I know I primed it black. It just disappeared. It was a car that came. I got it for 25 cents. I got it at the flea market in Mount Dora. I remember exactly where I got it. And this guy had the cheapest cars I'd ever seen. I've never seen anybody sell anything for less than $1 ever. It just figures probably not worth fooling with. And this one guy had, 4 for $1, 25 cents each. Actually, I don't remember if it was. Anyways, I don't remember if you actually buy one. I just want one car and you could give him 25 cents and he'd be happy with that. But regardless, this car was in bright orange, not too dissimilar from something like this, except it wasn't clear. It was like safety orange. And the wheels rolled on it. And it's one of those that comes in a pack with a monster truck. But now they've cut corners again and you just get basically a piece of trash that doesn't move or anything. It looks like it's a car, but it isn't. But this like had legitimate wheels that rolled and had an interior and everything. I'm like, we're going to make this a vehicle because it's going to have that skill. There's one skill in the game called splashback, and that's when you're within a certain range of another vehicle. If if that vehicle that has splashback takes damage, other vehicles near it can also take damage just from parts and shit falling off of it. Shrapnel, so to speak. So that needs to be on a vehicle that looks like it's falling apart. You know, you don't want to. I wouldn't want to do that on every vehicle. So I'm definitely a what you see is what you get person, because it'd be hard to keep all that stuff together if a vehicle could have that and it didn't look like a junker. Let's clean up this Union Jack a little bit. Have some pride in your nation, for God's sakes. I'll say it again. I like the Union Jack. It's a cool looking flag. As an outsider, I think it's a good looking flag. Now, white background with just a red cross, lame. Okay, but start adding all these parts together, pretty cool. The England flag that the soccer team uses, oh, that's football for you guys, is fucking awesome too. Those 3 blue lines, that's what, that looks awesome. But I'm a big fan of, having animals on a flag. Or a crest, or both. The Ernst Rome car. We're going to have to look that up. Isn't he the guy that, he's that brown shirt that got murdered, right? That fat brown shirt? Yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy, man. Ben, I don't know what happened to him. He's somewhere. And I looked at it. I think you've seen it. I've had it on the show and been like, this just looks too good to make it trash. Like, this is a legitimate vehicle. Let me take one look and see if it's in a... It could be in this parts box. I haven't opened this parts box in a long time. No está ahí? It is not here. What about this parts box? Aha! As your reward, you get to see it. All right, just for that, I'm doing it next. Yeah, the gay guy. Was he gay? This thing. Let's make sure it's in the camera view. This is totally a legit car. And it's going to have splashback. So you can see some of that bright ass orange cone bullshit this thing has. It's called Speed Bump. And it is a 2019. I don't know if they made other models, but I would love to have 4 or 5 of these things. It looks like some kind of Buick or something. Well, we're going to legitimately paint it. The easy thing would be just paint it metallic, but no, it's going to be miscolored. It really looks like it should have some weapon up here that's really, really heavy, and it crushed the fucking car. Like the roof is crumpled because it's like, man, you shouldn't put something that weighs that much on top of it. But it needs to look like a piece of crap. Anyways, thanks for bringing that up. We're doing it. We're doing him next. Because it'll be, it's like a legitimate car. It's not like it doesn't have extra damage. Like, it was really robust and then took damage, but it was built robust. So obviously we won't make it armored. That would be like way over the top. The NASA rocket. The rocket's not going to be NASA. I don't know what it's going to be, but and I didn't love those choices, but if I had shown you what was there, I still think I made the right choice. At least there's something to work with, because you can't find these things in stores. And I don't want to, for some reason, the tractor trailers are really expensive. You're talking like $20, $25 or something like that. I'm like, I don't want to buy something that's $25, $30 sight unseen. Okay, so back to this guy. Wrecked It Ralph. Or whatever we end up calling him. Okay, I think we're going to punt on this. We're just going to leave that alone. We do need to touch up the white. That's where we're at. Touching up the white on the Union Jack. It's a shame because the Union Jack that I painted on what's that little guy's name? On Poppycock looks better than this one. And yes, I did do it so on the legs the white the red is off the one side. That's an easy thing to miss. Most people would probably miss that. I made a conscious effort to not screw that up. Okay. Now we need to do the same thing up here. They put that Hot Wheels logo over it and ruined it. Have some pride in your country. Okay, I got to figure out how that's going to translate into that corner, but that white needs to be there for sure because it was covered over by that Hot Wheels logo, the intrusive Hot Wheels logo. Damn American corporate crap. Yeah, it's funny. The two rockets are different from each other. So the first one I'm going to do is the tanker, and I don't know if I'll get it done by next weekend. You know, I'm having fun doing whatever the hell I want to next, and as long as I'm working on something and finishing that one thing I start on, doesn't really matter what I do. You know, I probably need to work on those trucks in between other stuff because they need to be cleaned up. There's a lot of like old dust on there. They're gonna need a scrubbing. They're gonna they're gonna need a scrubbing. I was watching a video when I was trying to fall asleep last night of this one guy who's in Florida and he has a YouTube channel. I don't know how many subscribers he has. He has, I think, about the same number that I do. But all he does, I don't know what he does with these cars, but he'll do a video of like, he'd go out today. He lives over in Pinellas County, which is, St. Petersburg area, I'm pretty sure. And he'll go to like 4 Walmarts and 3 Targets. I only have one Target here, so can only go to that one. And couple drugstores and stuff, grocery stores, and like literally bring his camera around and look through the packages. And it kind of puts me to sleep. It's that ASMR or whatever. But he doesn't modify them or anything. I don't, and people can do whatever they want. I just don't see the point in, call it collecting. I call it just buying shit, you know? Like I told the people in the vintage stores, like, I don't really want collector's items. Well, I don't care if they're collector's items. I'm going to paint over them. So I just don't want to pay a shitload of money for them because it's a waste of money, you know? even though I did buy my Subi, or the thing that's the closest to my Subi. That's already going to be Subrina. Not that my car has a name. I didn't realize people actually name their cars. Like, it makes sense to name these cars. They have fucking weapons, right? But your own personal car? Why would your own personal car have a name? It doesn't come alive, you know? It never occurred to me to, I find out, oh, you don't name your car? My wife had a car named Egbert. I'm like, why? It was egg colored. I said, why? But why would a car need a name? It doesn't have a personality. Never occurred to me. You put weapons on them? Yeah, it's gonna have a fucking name. It's gonna have a name and a slogan. Yeah. All right, let's clean up that white there. I'm gonna clean this up. Look like there's a little bit of red there in places it shouldn't be. And even though it is in the, what would you say, in the gap, and will end up getting a wash, I want it to look the same. Yeah, it's gonna need a little bit of blue there. Let's touch this up here. I think that side's good. You touch up a little bit of red there. Let's flip over to this side. Same issue with the red here in this crevice. Don't need it there. And we're going to need to bring that across. Now, I was really skeptical about the little Union Jack on Poppycock, and I freaking love that. That was like, first of all, it's a bland car. It's the opposite of this thing. This thing is like the British equivalent of one of those rednecks that has American flags everywhere. You know? Marcus, what's up, man? Where the hell have you been? You spent this week cleaning up that Matchbox set and cutting into the manageable pieces, then despruing a load of old 172nd aircraft kits. I'm still looking for like an F-15 or something like. Well, I want it to be a Chinese jet. Not that anybody knows what the hell a Chinese jet is when they look at it, but I want a Chinese jet like crashed with a wing on it and use that as a ramp. But I think that might be asking too much. But J20. I don't know what the hell the damn J Chinese modern Chinese things. You're riding around Virginia or up in Virginia. Oh yeah, you're up with those Yankees in Virginia. How you been, man? And if you think this is all full of Britain, man, you haven't seen this bastard. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. This is just a whole lot. Bobby's on board. Roll patrol. But they're going to come by and blow. They're going to come by and blow at you. We'll do. I know we'll make the right decision. I think the stuff on the roof is what's too much. I think we can remove this, keep everything else, and be all right. It's a Bentley, I'm pretty sure. It's a cool looking vehicle. Using parts of the aircraft for terrain. Yeah, that should work fine. So you were you already doing Gaslands, or did I inadvertently get you interested in it? That's not my intention, folks. You guys can do whatever the heck you want. I'm not here to convert anybody. You guys should know that by now. It's not like I'm not going to do World War II shit again. It's just like this is just too easy to put stuff together and be able to play a game with it. And it's a lighthearted game, and I can deal with this being lighthearted. I can't deal with World War II being lighthearted. Like, I can play this goofy ass game and it's unrealistic and I'm fine with it, but I can't play bolt action. That's like sacrilege for me. Not Gaslands, okay. Well, the first bits I got were for a game called Auto Kill that I guess has been around for a while. And the company that makes the Auto Kill stuff, that was the first bits that I got. And they're high quality bits. They're resin. All right, we need to get rid of this gap. That's better. And we need to do the same thing over here. But the Gaslands game is simple enough that if I feel like I need to change something in it, I'm not affecting too many things. Although I don't want to change the point values of weapons. I think I just want to leave that alone. Okay? That's better. Now we got to figure out what the hell's going on with this blue. We got to have a little bit of the blue showing, and it's the second blue. It's the first one. It's not the intense, it's this one. 15 millimeters sci-fi. That's that Alien Squad Leader or something like that, right? Right? Isn't there a game called Alien Squad Leader? Man, back when I was looking at on that computer site a lot, that one game that it's that they call it what, a 4D game or something like that, called Shadow Empire. Man, that was a popular game when it came out. And I played the demo and I did not like the gameplay. It had the retro graphics, all right, like I knew that going in, which I'm not a fan of retro graphics. I survived EGA. I don't need to go back to it. I think this is only going to have a tiny little bit of this blue showing. But I just didn't like the gameplay. But that's the advantage of buying something a computer game. You get to try it for still a short period of time. I don't want to play the game for free. There we go. That looks spot on. See if we've got another little spot like that to take care of over here. Nice. The red's going to be towards this side, so there should be a tiny little sliver of red over here. Let's see if we can do that and not botch it up. Or is it laser burn? I always wanted to play. What's that? Is it a Lardy game? That the Africa one. What's it called? The DBA type Africa game. But I don't want to learn how to play it. Just a tiny just a tiny little bit there. It's missing. Like it just looks like it looks wrong. There we go. That's what we needed to do, and it's cheated over to this side more. That's what we needed to do. That's what we needed to do. This thing is about ready for that wash. Okay, I'm really happy now. That's what we needed to do. We needed to clean up the Union Jack. It was all jacked up. I'm okay with it being blue. I'm okay with this line being blue, and for some reason, the Union Jack ending there at the armor plates. I don't want to paint those armor plates. I don't think I want to paint them metallic. I don't think I do. Kevin, what's up, man? You started with 5 parsecs from home. It's a solo campaign rule, 6 to 8 figures per side. In 15 millimeter? Oh, I like that. You've taken a short detour from World War II, working on another ACW diorama for our local court here. This time, a covered bridge will be 7 feet long. Well, that's cool. You got people that, well, hell, you live on a battlefield, or your parents do, or you used to live. You got anybody that you know of was in the Civil War? I don't. That's for those colonials. I'm gonna go make myself another coffee, brew another coffee. I'll be right back. I'm not gonna sit there and wait on it. Honestly, I'm not a fan of civil wars. I think the Russian Civil War would probably be okay to do. The Roman ones aren't bad, other than the fact that, I mean, the characters in the Roman Civil War, they're interesting. Um, the fact that it's just like almost the same troops fighting each other is not interesting to me, but if you want to talk about Eastern Roman versus Western Roman, that's interesting. Because they're, at least the army lists are a little different. You don't, but your neighbor had 5 relatives that fought in the battle. All on one side? Yeah, see, I've played ACW before. Everybody around here always wants to play Rebels. And it's 2 things. First of all, people want to play who they are. I mean, nobody likes Yankees. But people always like to play the side that lost. Because it's like, what are you going to do? Lose? So it's like, that's why Germans are so popular. And Germans have cool kit too. But the Germans lost, thankfully. The second one. And and people like to play them because it's like, well, and they're interesting. I mean, Germans are. I mean, they're an interesting enemy. They are, you know. I think the Soviets are an interesting enemy. The modern Chinese, fuck those guys. I don't think they're interesting at all. I don't know that there's anybody modern that I really find interesting. We should have gotten to the point where we don't have to fight over stupid shit like that anymore, but, you know. Supposedly, Brownell was the first recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor during the Civil War. But Virginia's in the north, man. I like calling people from Georgia Yankees. Well, they're north of here. No, Georgia is definitely south of here. Mentally. Ooh, it's going to be a rainy day. Or is it just not sun out? Sun's not out yet. All right. We got our cafe. Drop a couple ice cubes in there. What the hell am I drinking something warm for? Well, I think it's Ben has created the problem that this is going to be the next one. That's not really a problem. I'm just saying it that way. So I think what I'm going to do is, I don't want to tear down the whole camera and everything. I'm going to go and I'm going to spray this thing clear. And I'm going to leave it out there. And I'll be right back in like 5 minutes. All right. And then we'll start working on putting this thing together. I think this is, this is going to be a hoot. And decrepit son of a bitch. Decrepit Dan. Is a used car salesman, and he gets the privilege of driving the last piece of shit off the lot. And this is it right here. 7-foot long covered bridge. Models Shoreham, Vermont covered bridge. Awesome laser cut MDF model. Tragedy in Australia today. Mass shooting incident. But there's no guns there. Guns are bad in the hands of the wrong people. In the hands of the right people, they're not a problem. But let's see what happened here. I should just be able to do Australia. It's going to be the first thing that comes up. At a beach? Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of bullets to kill 11 people in an open environment like that. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just going to put this on pause. Yeah, I can't do the little enter screen because we're not doing that. I'll be right back in about 5 minutes. All we're going to do is spray this guy. And I'll probably spray him and bring him in. That way he can dry in here and I won't leave again to do the wash. Okay? Be right back. Well, I did something that I've only done before. It wasn't a big deal. Just kind of annoying. It's annoying to be incompetent. And I left. I never drained the pressure off of the compressor, and I probably sprayed it last, I don't know, a week ago maybe. So it's been at 40 psi in there. So you know what I did? I didn't drain it again because I'm going to use it again today. I mean, certainly if I left it running for a whole freaking week, I can handle it. Can handle being running for 1 day. So all right, I'm gonna take a little pee break, and then I'll be right back, and then we'll get on doing the junker, putting that thing together. Okay, the junker, huh? This thing is, I don't know what the hell this came in, but it's a cardboard piece. And I actually peeled the front of it to see if I could use it for terrain. It's too much of a pain in the ass to use it for terrain. But it's pretty freaking solid. I mean, it's real solid. So I'm like, we'll just use this to spray on. Spray on, spray off. All right. I'm considering taking my World War II stuff and putting it away, but I just don't know where to store it. I can package away the cars, roll them roll them up like little tampons, and they're safe. I don't think I can do that with the tanks. So I don't think I can do that with the tanks. Maybe I should get one of those display things. They're just too expensive. They're too expensive, and they look like they're really fucking flimsy. Like $130 or something like that. The MDF thing you were talking about, Marcus. I don't know if you're still on here, Marcus, but the problem with MDF, and I like it, is I'm not a big fan of how you have to glue it together. This Vallejo paint rack was MDF, and it was a pain in the freaking ass to glue together because the tolerances on were like really tight, and I had to paint it. I had to give it a sealer so the paint wouldn't continue sucking up, and then paint it. And just adding that little bit of, I mean, it wasn't even a millimeter of those two things, and it was so difficult to get the pieces together. Because they interlock. Inside one, inside the other, the edges and things like that. It was unfun. So yeah, I ended up using wood glue, I think. Super PVA. Super PVA per se. All right, so we got this junker, right? So we got to build it. We have to design it. Don't have to name it first, but you have to design it first. I almost always name things as soon as I see it. I don't have a name for this thing yet. We're going to call it Wrecked It Ralph for now. So let me get my sheets over here. Let me get my sheets together. Wrecked It Ralph. I have so many of these data charts to make. So many, like 15 or something like that. They actually take a long time to do. I told her that I needed to help me to put something together on an Excel spreadsheet so that it's easier to it just takes too long to get everything in a place where I need it to. So, and I'm good with Excel, but It takes longer than it should. Let's put it that way. Okay, so we're going to call this Wrecked It Ralph for now. It's obviously a car, which is 12 points. And it has 2 build slots. Okay. Working our way all the way to the back. Let me get the rule book. It's going to have that splashback thing. That splashback perk. If anything has a splashback perk, it's this thing. So let's go to the skill. Splashback. I got to do something while I'm waiting for this thing to dry, and it doesn't make sense to do the rig because the rig involves going outside and cleaning it and everything. That doesn't mean we're not going to work on the rig today, but because it would be pretty cool to do a game next weekend where everybody's picking on the rig. That'd be pretty cool. And then us fuck up the rig rules because we've never played it before, but all right. It is called not military, it's not horror. Is it built splashback? 5 cans. Once per step, when this vehicle loses 1 or more hull points, make a D6 attack against any vehicle against each vehicle within medium range at the end of that step. Man, so it wants to get in a crowd and then have somebody attack it. Oh, it doesn't even have to be from shooting. You could ram it, and if you're within medium range of other people. Once per step. So that could be the ramming check. That could be the shooting check. Splashback, 5 cans. Okay. So it's going to be, I normally list this in the bottom, but we'll go ahead and list it at the top. Splashback, 5. Okay, so now we're at the 17 points. Got 10 more points for 2 weapons. Sorry, them's the rules. It makes the interchangeability really handy. I don't regret that at all. That's probably it's probably the smartest thing I've done, is to make these categories where things can just switch out. Okay. What rickety weapons do we have? Well, we're not going to have lasers. Probably not going to have a flamethrower. Let's go through my weapons box here and see what we've got. Stuff that specifically looks junkish. Let's see. Is this thing in view? No. Why isn't it in view? Okay. It's too much. That's 15 points on a turret. I don't think we can make it turreted. I could put this bomb on it. And I know this is very overpowered looking. It's very overpowered looking, but all it would be is an explosive ram. I feel like this needs to go on a clown car, though. I think this would be much better served on a clown car. I've got this cannon that is at an angle, so it needs to fit in like the front of something. That could possibly work there. But we don't have the points for a cannon. Is 120. They only come in one flavor, 125 millimeter cannon, and 125 millimeter cannon is 3 build slots, so we can't have that. Arc lightning projector, no. Bazooka, maybe. I don't know that I've got any weapons that really scream bazooka to me. BFG, 3 build slots, no. Combat laser, nope. Death ray, nope. Flamethrower, probably not. Grabber arm, probably not. That and the thing that I got for the grabber arm, I already used it for something else. Harpoon, only had one, nope. Machine gun. I feel like it needs to have a rocket or bazookas or something like that. Just not really digging that. How many points we got left? 12 and 5. That's 17. And we need to get to 27. So 10. It's a pair of 5s. It's a pair of miniguns. I already have a gun that I already have one that has a pair of miniguns. Let's look in this new set. There's some weird shit in here. The Hoffman, welcome. We don't need any armored plates on it. It's good as is, I think. This might not be bad, just for aesthetics. To put one of these things on the roof. Like it crumpled the roof. Of course, we need to figure out that may be where we have to mount the weapon. So that's probably not, we can't make that decision just yet. Tank tracks, skulls, speakers, an engine that sticks out. Now, here's the rockets, but it's only 3, but that's okay. It's got... We didn't use them on the other vehicle. It's not like we're being redundant. I don't mind being redundant, but don't build 2 cars back to back like that. That might not be bad. That might not be bad. All right, we'll leave those. We'll leave those options out here. All right, what do we got here? Nothing. Nope, that's Rams. Explosive ram on the front might not be bad. But if I do that, well, it doesn't even use a build slot. The front-mounted rockets would be 5 points, so we still have 5 left. Exploding ram would be 3. We still have 2 left. This looks like a caltrop dropper thing, but caltrop dropper uses a build slot. Let's see what this exploding ram thing even looks like. I may not like how it looks. We have to shave this thing down. I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to do that. Not in this one. Nope, nope, nope. Well, if we're going to use rockets, that's going to use up both of our build slots and we're done. I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's what we're going to do. Now, can we mount this in a way that it makes sense? Yeah. The roof is crumpled enough that it can shoot over the roof by being on the back hood. That actually might be a good reason to put it back there. It's like, well, we wanted to put the only place we could put it on there is on the back of the car. Well, the damn top's in the way. Bam, bam, bam. Not anymore. I think that's where I'm going to put it. I think that's where I'm going to put it. There's the backstory for it. It was wrecked, but the roof wasn't dented in. It was when they're like, well, we got to get the roof out of the way. All right. Crazy barbarians. Crazy ass barbarians. All right. Got two guys in there. It's still going to give them 5 points left over. How much are magnums? Watch them be 3 points each. Yep. Son of a bitch. All right. Well, one will have a magnum and then I guess grenades for the other guy. All right. That's kind of a theme that we got going on here. Okay. Grenades. 1. Magnum. 3. And rockets. 5. That's 8, 9, 14. I got 1 left over. I don't want to give him a submachine gun. It really looks like it would be like a caltrop dropper type of vehicle, but that takes up a build slot. Then we can't have the rockets on it. We can't have the rockets on it. Well, we'll just forego the caltrops on it. Don't want to kick those the caltrops off. It's what's holding everything together. Okay. So first things first, let's glue the son of a bitch down. Where's the hot glue thing? Let's get that fired up. And we got to figure out what the main body color of this vehicle is going to be. I feel like it needs to be some form of brown. It's like a Buick. It's one of those Buicks and one of those annoying metallic brown colors. Let's use this, even though we're going to lose that white. It's only temporarily. It's just it doesn't take very long to do this. You got another movie suggestion for me? Might have time to watch a movie today. I might make time to watch a movie today. Let's put it that way. Make time. Let's clean this thing up. While we're waiting on that. The whole point is just keep the momentum going. I'm not necessarily in a hurry to get this thing done, but it feels good to accomplish shit. And I'm not going to paint this first. We'll glue it on here, and we won't hot glue this down. We'll use super glue for this, but I just realized there's not one Purge movie left. There's two more left. Right? There's Election Year and then the first Purge. At this point, it's like the Saw movies. I just got to watch them all. Yeah, I don't know if they make more models of this speed bump. It's a good looking model, regardless of whether or not it's decrepit or not. Looks pretty good. No movies lately, just been reading about the orthodox and heretical views of hoplite warfare. Wow. Deep, man. Who do you like in hoplite warfare? I never got around doing the Theban army. Dudes on two dudes, one army, they all fought in pairs or whatever. I have the figures for that. And I have an Athenian army too. When I was in middle school, I liked the Spartans, but I don't know that I like the Spartans. They're a little too extremist. All their shields had the same emblem on them. Boring. Boring! I don't mind the Athenians as long as it's not Alcibiades. Fuck that guy. I like that guy as much as Picasso. Alcibiades is probably a better artist than Picasso. All right. So this Joker is sealed up enough for me. All right. We're going to put this back here, and we should be able to glue that on there. Do I have any standard strength, standard drying time super glue left? I may not. I may not have any. I might have gone through all of it. which means I got to use the one that's super thin, which doesn't, well, I got this one bottle. What's left in it? The gap filling one. The green one's kind of gap filling also. Well, one chance to do this right. Yeah, that's the backstory of this thing. The roof was okay, but then they needed to beat it down so it wouldn't get in the way of the rockets. Trunk rockets. You like the city-states when they fight for whatever reason. I just want them to go at it. I used to be an Athenian fanboy, but that's when I was younger. You have the Black Sea Greeks. I have you gonna paint any miniatures for it, or are you just reading about it right now? I know why I went through the super glue so much, because it's the one we use for the wheels. Oh, next time we find ourselves at the store, we'll have to get more of this stuff. All right, we're going to glue this stuff on here, and then we're going to go to the brown wash. The Shropshire Slasher should be ready for the brown wash. There's still some in here. It's just, it hurts to squeeze that hard. All right, brown wash time. This should even things out a little bit more. So of course we're going to use strong tone. Did we finally kill one of these? I think we did. Soft tone, dark tone. Nope. They're strong. Dark, 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 dark. I didn't know I had 3 of them. That's extreme. I don't use that much of it. It's the strong tone we go through the most of. All right, I killed that one little one that I had left with. All right, let's get a little receptacle. Great, got white on the back of there. Put that there so you don't transfer that somewhere else. Jeez, hit the fucking camera while you're at it. You got some Bacchus 16 6mm coming January right now. Just reading, designing some simple rules for fast card-based hoplite battles. You got a couple of board games that are based on that. I don't know whether they're worth a damn. I gotta put my glasses to find a brush worth a hoot. Okay, this one should work. Now we're gonna need to cut this down with some water. I don't want it to look super dirty. That won't be the case for this guy. That thing's gonna look like ass. by design. All right, now we'll paint these pokey bits. Now a turret. That gives it just enough modulation there to make it look interesting, to be worth looking at. This thing, to make it worth looking at. Okay, tremendously better looking. Okay, this blue looks a lot better now that it's more in line with the other blue. A lot better looking. And then when we weather, it'll look even better. But we need to let that dry, and it's going to be an hour or so. Something like that. If we're lucky. All right. This guy needs to be painted black. I already have black paint here, but we're going to use the primer because it goes on so much easier. A rule set called Alala. Be a good name for your if you have a daughter. Alala. Alala. No, that's her long name. That's her legal name. We just call her Alala for short. Oh man. This should do just fine. All right, Marcus, thanks for stopping by, man. Hopefully you're enjoying the freedom in Virginia. I could probably work on this all day long, but I'm going to take a break. Now, this new chair that I've been using now is a lot more comfortable than the old chair. The other chair wasn't bad, but it was squeaking a lot. I still didn't want to get rid of it. I don't like throwing away things at work. It's on the other end. And it really only squeaks when you're like moving around in it. So if you're not doing something that involves you like grabbing paint, it's a lot quieter than anything that's that orange. It's showing we want to get rid of that. I think we're going to make the core color of this vehicle metallic brown. We're going to make a metallic brown color. Because it looks like a fucking Buick. It looks like a 1985 Buick Sabre. I don't know. I don't know what. And we'll paint all that one color, dry brush it, and then decide what panels have been replaced. You know, like the doors will be different colors. Well, they'll be different. Like one of them might be the body color, the other one won't be. Same thing with the trunk. The hood. The hood's got to be a different color. And the quarter panels, stuff like that. It'll look good. This is just too nice to be using it as a junk pile. Like it's well crafted. It looks like a pile of junk. Well, it's well crafted. I've never made another one of the Ben specials. The using the aluminum foil to make a wreck. I made one. I think it turned out pretty well. But what I'm really not motivated on is to paint the freaking dropped weapons. That's super tedious. That reminds me of like painting 15 millimeter figures. I don't want to do that. I know I have to, but you know, did I see the Stargate movie? Yeah, Avalon Hill did have an Alexander game. I did see the Stargate movie a long time ago. I get that one and the Fifth Element mixed up. Which is the one that has the little pyramid creatures? Stargate? Doesn't Stargate have Kurt Russell in it? I like Kurt Russell, but I don't know. Science fiction movies that Tony likes. That's a pretty short list. That's the problem with science fiction is science fiction's all over the place. Sometimes it's too much science fiction. It's too unbelievable, whatever it is. Like I can deal with time travel. I can't deal with multiple universes. And I'm not saying that Stargate has multiple universes. 'Cause I think multiple universes is kind of it's a Marvel thing. Marvel's the one that there may have been people before that did it, but they really took off with it and ran with it. And I can't stand them. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I dislike more than multiple universes. Or you think they made a new one? I mean, I don't know. I don't remember anything about the old one. Not the TV show. Didn't watch the TV show. That the one with that Dean Anderson dude is in it. Whatever his name is. I get him and the Bacula guy mixed up because they both are like the same time period. I mean, they don't look anything alike each other, but they get put in the same Tony compartment. You know, I don't dislike either one of them. You know, yeah, Stargate movie. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's available you don't have to pay for. Like, there's a ton of shit on Tubi, and I don't mind watching a commercial every 20 minutes. I mean, it's not like it's not even that short. It's not even that long of a commercial. What I don't like is paying to rent a movie and then sitting through it because it sucks. You know, like if the movie is free, I'll walk away from it, right? But all right, yeah. Now we're at a standstill. No, we're not at a standstill. Let's find. Let's see. Can I turn this towards the? I think I should be relative. It should be relatively easy to loosen this up, and we can search this Buick color together. I guess this is a Buick. Let's see. Let's see if we can get away with this. Let's loosen this up. Okay, good. This is the screen. This is what I read your stuff on. Let's minimize this. Geez, we don't need to add another window. Close this. I don't have to worry about my search history. All my porn's on my phone. I don't have anything on my computer. I'm real careful with this computer to not do any surfing on it. Because even if you go and look at King Tiger tank patterns or something like that, it might redirect you to a picture that's on some page that's sketchy, and you get something on that sketchy. And I don't mean anything big, but just something annoying like a redirect virus. My last computer got ate up with redirect viruses, and it was all because of that. Looking for paint schemes for, well, in that case, it would have been DBA stuff, shield patterns and things like that. All right, so we're going to do a search for, what year do we think this thing is? This has got to be a Buick. Okay, so we're going to go Buick 1980 models. I mean, I'm overthinking this, but I like this kind of shit. This is educational, okay? Buick 1980 models include Century, Electra, LeSabre, Regal, Skylark, and Skyhawk. Okay? See more. Okay, I'm looking for one that's two-door, so it's probably the Regal. Okay, Century, offered as a standard sedan, Century Estate, Century Limited. No, Regal, a coupe model, or a coupe, as you guys say it. Kanye, never heard of her. Compact car, I think Regal is our thing. I think Regal's the car we're looking for. Okay, Buick 1980 models Regal. Let's go to the Buick Regal and see what we've got. This is exactly what this is. This purple fucker right here, this is exactly what we have here. We have that purple fucker right there. You got an 84 LeSabre with a pillow top seats. Yeah, you're probably the youngest guy with them. Hey, listen, I would have driven whatever, My first vehicle was an 86 Stanza wagon. I think it had 70 horsepower or something like that. Hey, it's a vehicle, Apparently there's a new Stargate, but lots of liars out there, so details not sure. Regal Grand National GNX. Okay, does this have a hump here? It does. And remember, we're trying to match this guy right here. Buicks are made in China. This is the part where I say fuck China. I don't have a problem with Chinese people, but Yeah, it's even got this small window back here. It's definitely a Buick. All right. So the question is, what year is it? Does it really matter? Okay. How about Buick Regal 1980s Buick Regal colors? Brown. I'm gonna put brown. I want this fucker to be brown, but I want it to be a factory brown. That's it right there. That's what this piece of shit main color is. Put some light on the toy car. I can't where it is. I have to move the camera. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better. Let's move it over here. This is a car that was in bright orange, and it came with a monster truck as a crushed vehicle. Now, I bought this for 25 cents. This is totally a Buick Regal, and I'm painting it brown like that fucker right there. That's the core color that it's going to be. So we're going to do a metallic brown. It's got to be close. It's going to be rusty and all get out. Shit, might even do the two-tone thing here. You want to put some effort in stuff so it looks like, just because it's a wreck, and it's like a viable vehicle. It's just, you know, I keep forgetting that I have one that goes, I have a screen that goes both ways. Yeah, that right there. That right there. That's what we want. That's what we're looking for. So I'm going to paint the entire vehicle in that color. And then we can decide what ends up getting replaced with, other parts. But that color right there is what we're going to go with. Yeah, I mean the front even has I'm just not set up. I'm not set up for this. It even has double headlamps. That's what we're going to go with. All right, I'm going to leave that up. Let's turn this back around. So we just loosen this. We should be able to find our way back home. And tighten this back down. Perfect. All right, I'm going to use, I think, this color. Parasite Brown. We're going to make this Parasite Brown metallic. And I may hate how this looks. That's all right. But you know what? I don't have any other I don't have any other cars that are this color. Now, maybe, that the sides here are that, and the doors are a different color, and the hood's a different color. Like, it's all pieced together from different things, but Buicks are made in Canada, US, China, South Korea, and Germany. Monte Carlos. Yeah, they're kissing cousins, aren't they? Remember those huge, what were those cars that were really big? Oh, and they're not 70s cars. They're like late 80s. Was it the Thunderbirds that were really big? Like really, really big. Towards the end. I always liked the way the Chevy Beretta looked. Probably a piece of crap, but sleek looking car. I think it was a Chevy, yeah. Not a GMC. Same difference. All right, so this is another color it could be. This is too close. We're going to weather this anyways. So it needs to be a little bit more pristine looking, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah, I thought Berettas look good. Regardless of whether or not I'm just talking about aesthetically. I think the redesign of which one is it? Ford, is it the Focus? The one that looks like a late 90s Prelude. I think that's a good looking car. I wouldn't drive one, but American cars just need better QC. That's what it is. It's a shame. I mean, the best cars in the world should be American cars, and they're not. It's a QC issue. What else is a good looking car? Lots of cars from the 70s and 60s look good. Cars from the 50s, they all look like melted assholes to me. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of those old cars. Those Eisenhower cars with the wings. No. But 60s cars and 70s cars, there's many of them that look pretty badass. Yeah, Berettas. Yeah, maybe the late Monte Carlo was like really like meaty. I don't know if it had engine worth the damn. It just looked like there was a lot to it. Like these Impalas, okay? These Impalas that are here, I've been in one of these before. This door is massive. It's a coupe, and it is a full fucking size car that is a coupe. Is it a coupe? Yeah, I guess it's got a back seat, but it's only got one door. That door is a fucking weapon. There's cars now that are smaller than that door. It's a huge door. That's a cool car. I mean, I wouldn't want to drive one of them, but it's still a cool car. I got a lot of these vehicles are really, really interesting looking. You know, I remember a friend of mine back when everybody had a car except me. I had a friend of mine that had an Eagle Talon, which is just basically a rebranded Mitsubishi Eclipse. And at the time, I thought that thing was fucking badass as shit. Like on the inside, the way the display of it is everything, the console, the all your speedometer and all that stuff looked like a fucking aircraft. I love the way that car looked. Now, I probably look at it now and be like, so what, right? But at the time, I was really impressed. And I told him, because that's the one thing about that I really dislike about cars. Car people suck. You go to a car show and I'm not saying make things up, but if you like something that somebody else has, like give somebody a nice compliment. Now, you don't have to suck his dick, but you don't have to be like, it's not my car, I'm not gonna say anything nice about it. And that's just how people are. And it's like, you know, there was a guy there that had a Chevelle or something like that was black at the last car show that I went to. It was a beautiful car. I wouldn't drive it because its drive probably steers sloppy as shit and probably couldn't afford one anyways. But beautiful car. Eagle was a cool brand. All Eagles had great names. Did they have good names? That's a good. They might have. Well, what did they have? They had the Talon, right? They had the were they all Mitsubishi? Were they were all the Eagles Mitsubishi combinations? Because the other one they had was that big Mitsubishi. Remember their turbo V6? I don't know if it was a V6 or inline or whatever, but it was a 6-cylinder. Their turbo 3000 or whatever. Mitsubishi 2000. I think it's a 3000. They made one of those as well. Stealth. No, that was a Dodge Stealth. So maybe that wasn't quite an Eagle. Although Eagle was a Dodge brand. I don't know. That stuff's interesting. You know. But the way how much cars cost now, that's the only thing I can afford is these, $1 cars. I finally did get around to getting a car that's the closest thing to my own car. But they don't when they make, and I'm going to start really dark here. I'm not going to add the metallic until later. We're just going to dry brush this son of a bitch. They don't make mundane cars generally. So when I saw a Nissan Sentra, I'm like, I picked that thing up. I don't have a Nissan Sentra, but when I see cars that are like, there's like a Chevette I saw, I'm like, I want that Chevette. Everything doesn't have to be a McLaren or a freaking Ferrari or a Lamborghini for this game. It can be, now some things are hard to find. It's hard to find a Pinto or a Gremlin or, yeah, a Pinto's perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna have a Pinto that drives around backwards, rams into people. Explosive ram. And this is supposed to look ugly, just so you know. This is a piece of cake because I'm just using my tank skills, my World War II tank skills. I just get to paint things that are more, that are brighter and more are less drab. Well, except this thing. This thing is the Drabmeister. All right. I don't want to change that color too much, but I think I'm not going to use Mithril Silver. I think I'm going to use Ironbreaker to add a little bit of metallic to it. What are the Chrysler cars that they have? Eagle. They make a Mitsubishi Montero. That was a cool vehicle. I knew several people that had Suzuki Samurais. I don't know how a vehicle that has that little amount of horsepower is expected to go off road, but okay. It's a cool vehicle unless you're in a wreck with one. That's like a Jeep. We used to rent a lot of cars, and when we go on trips, and I always want to rent a Jeep because I never buy one. And when I mean a Jeep, I mean what are they called? Wrangler. That's a Jeep. A Jeep. And man, they cost a lot of money. You're paying for stuff you don't really need. Like I don't need all that height and all that kind of stuff, but it costs money. All that expensive suspension, and they look like I really like the interior of them. I really like the styling that a Wrangler has, a modern Wrangler has. However, I would not want to be in a T-boned in one. They just do not seem safe. There's not enough, and it may just be perception, but it just looks like there's just not enough door there to protect you. You know. What's on the table today? We're making a junker. Well, we're waiting for the Shropshire Slasher to dry out. We did a brown wash on it. We've added all kinds of stuff to it. Let's put the turret on there and give you a better idea. Okay, this is the Shropshire Slasher. Working its way there. And we're making this, I don't know what this one's called yet. We're going to call it Wrecked It Ralph for now. And this is just a junk car that came. Well, I bought it for 25 cents. It was in a bargain bin at a flea market. But it's one that comes as an accessory. That's the correct way to call it. It's an accessory to a monster truck. So it's like a crushed car. And it was in bright ass fucking orange. Like safety orange. Like. And I have a feeling, vehicles that have a lot of personality, I think are the ones that are the coolest. Like this thing, well, everybody likes, stuff that's like deadly and morbid and shit like that. But this thing has a lot of personality. But I'm actually attracted towards vehicles that are like, I don't know how that would possibly work. Like, I don't know how the hell this multicolored piece of shit is going to work. I think it turned out okay. The YOLO pony. So, but they all have decent detail. None of the rear was painted. It all came in one color. I'm like, no, we've got to do better than that. All the details there. Just a matter of doing it. Got a couple of those crushed cars as singles. They're called speed bump. Yeah, did they come in different styles? Or are they all speed bumps? I would love to get more of them. But I saw this and the wheels rolled and I'm like, there's no way I'm making this a wreck. This is a legitimate car that has just been crumpled. So the backstory of this thing is they wanted to put rockets on it, but the cabin was in the way. So they crushed the cabin and put the rockets there. So it actually fires over the cabin. Maybe midgets drive it. Can you not say midgets anymore? If you can't, there's a reason to have a midget team. And when I was growing up, I thought all midgets came from England. Time bandits and stuff like that. They're all the same style. That's a shame. That's a shame. Because, it's really well done. Well, it'll be one then. I'm going to really like this vehicle. I can tell already. You play Gaslands or you just coming by looking at diecast stuff? Because we're going to add the splashback on this thing. Splashback is a thing if you attack somebody within medium range, some of that damage can come back on you. Because it's got parts and shit flying off of it. That's the backstory of it. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same color as that Buick in the picture, but Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up to this fully. And it's still going to get a brown wash over it, so. Actually, a little lighter like this than that one color I found is probably better, so that the rust streaking and stuff will stand out a little bit more. Okay, I think that's probably good. Now it'll need a brown wash also. That's hilarious. Or it's like the old classic 50s, 60s chop shop roof feel. Well, I was trying to figure out what can I put on there, and I'm like, you know, I want a reason to do everything that I do. I mean, I just don't want to haphazardly put things on there. Like this one's got a Maxim. This has got a Vickers machine gun because a Vickers is a British machine gun, so I specifically want to put those on there. Now, again, while this is drying, to put the brown wash on it, we'll work on this one. So I'm flip-flopping, not because that's my preference, not because I have ADD, which I don't have. I just got to keep the momentum going, right? We're here to accomplish things, not unaccomplished things. All right, so at this point, this thing has the brown wash on it. We're going to do the pin washing in black. Okay, so we're going to make all these panels stand out more so that these details that this vehicle has, you can see 2 and 3 feet away. Otherwise, it's wasted. The designer for this thing, yeah, I played Gaslands. We had a discussion last time. You don't particularly like the sponsors in the book. I was working on my Beverly team. I know Splashback, very underrated perk. Yeah, I don't like I don't, and it seems like the point values of the weapons they put a lot of thought into it. They did a good job with that. Um, I don't know about the sponsors having like the free. I don't like the idea of the free sponsor stuff that a certain team gets because I don't know how balanced those things are. And I also like the idea that, yeah, this guy runs for Cruel Britannia, but he may be in a one off, in which case he wouldn't have that perk. And I also don't like the idea that all the Cruel Britannia guys would have, you know, stiff upper lip. Okay, like a skill maybe called stiff upper lip that makes them all more similar to each other. I want them to be similar from the standpoint of look, nomenclature, that kind of stuff, more than perks per se. So, but that's just me, you know. Hey, if that's the only thing I can find fault with the game, that's pretty damn good. It's a fun game. It is a fun game. It's lighthearted and it's easy to like, I don't like this. Let me change this other thing. I'm not going to run it in a tournament. You know, this thing I think is going to be intense. This thing is going to be intense. Now, all of my vehicles have fallen into 27-point categories. 90% of my vehicles are 27 pointers. I don't know why that ended up being the amount of points that it was, but it was. And that's just so I can interchange them in and out. And then we got the 35-point category also. So it's easy. You want to play with a 35-point vehicle? Everybody gets one of those in a 27, or you can mix and match. This one's the next category up. I couldn't get the feel of this vehicle at 35 points. I can't. The core price of a heavy truck is 25. I can't put 10 points worth of stuff on here and it look like this, that it have the right appeal. So the butcher is 50. So I may actually bulk it up to 54, and that way it's a factor of 27. You can have this one or two 27s. Just from the standpoint of having some kind of like randomness to who you play. And I think that thinking about that ahead of time before I made the decision was a wise move for me. It brings me like a sense of like, I don't know, peace. Like I know that I'm making the right decision. And the reality is I think in every game, I ask people after we're done playing, any cars you didn't like, any car and nobody had really anything bad to say about it. It's not like you're stuck playing a car you had a bad experience with every battle. As a matter of fact, I'm making these a lot quicker than we're playing, so people are usually playing with new cars every time. But I think the balancing, it's unfortunate that you can't do like rockets and and then it only take one build slot. But I'm not wanting to change those rules like that because it's kind of like a GM. If you got a guy that's running a role playing game, you can't just make up everything. Like you got to keep yourself in check. Otherwise, you go on a power trip. But we've made very few changes to the game. The whole pole position thing didn't work for us. It was too complicated. We were making stupid mistakes, like who goes next, you know. And hell, I wasn't even drinking. So had to make our own change to that. But other than that, we've pretty much run the game exactly the way it's intended. It's pretty well designed. Game's pretty balanced. Only stick around 50 cans total. Once you go beyond that, things can get very quickly in terms of balance. Yeah, I don't. I think I like the 27 point because it gives every vehicle some things that are unique to it, and it doesn't. There's a lot of things it doesn't have. So by not having a lot of things, it gives you a reason to build another vehicle that does have those things. Like even building this 50-point vehicle, it almost has too much stuff. Like it's good if you're only going to build like 4 vehicles, but since I'm like on this tear, I think I'm over 50 vehicles, and I mean I could see another 50. I could see easily another 100 vehicles doing them. I need to not do everything in one vehicle so it allows personality for some other ones. That's for my own design purposes. Because that's the part, I'm enjoying that. Everybody else just wants to play the game. And that's why I kind of went to this mode because, we'd go and play the game and you spend an hour everybody designing the car and you end up everybody designs the same type of car and it's just freaking vanilla. Instead of like, okay, now you got a car that you need to play it this way. You're going to get randomly assigned a car. And obviously, if you don't want to play that car, okay, play a different one, right? But you get randomly assigned a car, so you don't like, oh, all I do is I play Space Marines and I only play this way, and this is the only kind of car I have. I won't play a car without a Ram or, that kind of crap, you know? And we got a pretty good game group. That's not really a problem for us, but it is a problem for some other people. But I don't plan on playing this outside of anybody that's our group. I'm not taking this to conventions. I'm not letting randos play this. If you don't bother bathing, you're not touching my fucking car. You didn't earn it, dude. You dirty bastard. And of course, the weathering makes everything come together. Why is there this stuff on the? There's no point in filling the top when we're just going to have this on there. And it's just a little bit of stickum, so when you're shooting at somebody, I can move it like that so it looks kind of cool in between turns. It may make a suggestion. Get some bikes. I'm not there yet, but I will. I'm in the same way in terms of this car always end up around 30 or so cans. So I put a bike with it to round it up to 50. So I have one car. There's going to be a less than 27 point category. We'll call it a 13 and a half point category. I have a buggy that like there's just not enough. If you add that much more points to bring it up to 27, it's too powerful. So there is going to be a less category than that. I don't have any bikes yet. I don't even have a dragster built. Although I have a feeling dragsters are probably just a disaster waiting to happen. It's a lawn dart by another name, an explosive lawn dart. But we haven't even played with a 50-point vehicle. We've only played one game, the last one we did, with a vehicle that wasn't 27 points. So I'm building a lot faster than I'm playing, which honestly is the appeal for me. This is my therapy, the painting part, not necessarily the playing part. Some people go, "Oh man, aren't you having fun playing?" Like, yeah, but it's difficult to get together with people, especially when my main opponent has the opposite work schedule that I do. Like literally like almost like polar opposite. So I have a normal Monday through Friday schedule and he has a off on off on Mondays and Tuesdays. So he's off on the 2 days that are the craziest for me. So not that big deal. He plays with retired people that can play whenever. I don't need the playing part. Ah, Snapdragon. All right, let's put this temporarily here. So I always have people look out, man, you need to play more. I don't need to play. I need to build these things with the intention of being able to play with them. I mean, I don't want to build static models, but what I need to do is work on this stuff. This is what makes me happy. The playing, yeah, it's social, whatever. This is also the only game that has been. This is probably the lightest, the friendliest game I've ever played because I'm competitive, but like I give opinions when it's not my turn, what somebody should do. You don't have to take it, but it's almost like I want the narrative to be interesting. Do you say next weekend he's free at the weekend? Yeah, I don't know. Dragsters are very fun. I probably have to have a minimum of terrain, don't I? Yeah, he didn't tell me how long he's off Saturday. Watch him being off only in the evening. That fucker needs a regular schedule. But I'm off all day. The girls are gone for over a week. So we're going to play on the island. And I'm probably going to put the palm trees out. And that'll divide it in two. So we'll start at one end, go all the way to the end, and come back. And that should be plenty long. That should be plenty. Well, let's see. Hold on. Let's do some math here. Oh, weekend math. The regular table, if we go around the outside, is a 4x4 mat. Okay. So that's 48 times 4. The length is 96 times 2. It's the weekend. I can't fucking do the math out of habit. Geez, just habit of doing it. Times 2's 192 inches or thereabouts. Mine is like 90. So if it's 90 times 2, that's 180 plus 42 inches is longer. So the length on the island will be longer. So my island is like 42 inches by 90. It's fucking huge. That's just how it came. As soon as I saw it, well, the game in there. But I don't want a game when the girls are here, out making noise and shit like that. So we'll just put stuff in between them. So you have to come up this side, come back, and should be plenty. It should work plenty good for that. So really, after we do this one, we probably should do some Doom buggies, some Doom buggy style cars, which I have a bunch of. So. Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said. We were going to play this last Friday. Cancel on. It's too much for me to drag all that shit over there and the cars and do all this stuff after I've worked a whole hell week and the lighting there isn't great. The lighting here is, I mean, I got lamps. It'll look good for you guys. It'll look good for you guys. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to film this. I don't think I'm going to film this over there. And I can do it live on my Wi-Fi. I can't do that there. I got the stand for the computer. You know, it'll be a better quality for you guys. I think I'm going to do it live. It's a lot less work for me. It's like you just do it and that's what you get. Not like, all right, we filmed the game. Let me edit it. Like, no, because after I game, I'm going to want to like work on shit, and I can't do that if I got to edit a video. You know, one of the things about people that create videos is you got to make it easier for the people that create videos because otherwise they'll get burned out and then you don't get any videos. I mean, we're doing this just because it's cool to share, you know. I mean, the last one of the last times we played, we had a car that that flipped. It went airborne and landed in a pack of other cars and then detonated. And it set off a chain of detonations. That's cool. I mean, I don't want to keep that. It's like you gotta share that stuff, you know. I mean, that's a narrative worth talking about. So I don't, you know, this isn't Little Wars where I got to worry about, oh, it's got to look professional. My video skills are never going to look professional, and I'm okay with that. I'm a painter, not a videographer. You know, what we can't do is we can't like dip things. We're not going to dip the cars. We're gonna they're gonna look good. They need to look good statically and need to look good up close. Hell, I got my contacts out. I mean, I'm seeing this in +6, so I can't fool myself that much. Yeah, this is taking a little bit of time, but the whole point is it needs to look awesome when you're done. If it doesn't look awesome, I wasted my time. That's my rules, not necessarily yours, but that's what keeps me going. I want to know that I did a really good job with it. It makes me want to do something else. Yeah, I'm actually fine with the blue. All I had to do is just put it together, and it looks okay. We haven't even gotten to the drippings part or the weathering. I had 2 cups of coffee, and I could already feel like I've had too much. A little bit. I feel like I've almost had too much. So, I use the coffee to make sure it's like, let's get some energy to knock this shit out. See, I don't want to make vehicles that cost too much because then you got to spend points and, you know, and they're all like superheroes, right? Like they need to have like weaknesses. They can't be good at everything. All right, I got to use the little boy's room. I'll be right back. That means you're being real, and people appreciate that instead of well, you know, it doesn't matter. Some people really like edited videos, and the reality is I just don't want to spend 5 hours editing a video. I don't. You know, that's like it's just not worth my time. Yeah, I like being real. Yeah. So, okay, I'll be right back. The other thing that is a consideration that I don't know if people consciously understand this. But one thing that is a consideration about editing a video and not editing a video. When you don't edit a video, it gives you a correct perception of how long something takes to do. If you show somebody an edited video, you're like, oh, this is a quick game. I should be done in 30 minutes. But it didn't. It took 2 hours. So who cares if the video is not edited and you're like, oh, I don't have time to, and I have lots of people like, I don't have time to watch your whatever. It takes too long. You know what? Don't watch it. I don't have time to spend 6 hours to potentially have somebody watch something or not. I'm just doing it. And if you guys want to come along for the ride, you're more than welcome. Grab a seat, You always watch a live stream. Okay. Do you ever watch a live stream that used to be live stream, but you didn't catch it? I don't like watching fake shit. Okay. Because there's too many fakers out there. I can tell you, I got a pretty good track record. I have edited videos before. I only want to edit stuff that like maybe didn't, like the camera fell or some shit like that, not necessarily all the zaniness or mistakes that we make or whatever. It's just too much. It's too much work to be a fake person. I don't like fake people, and it's just too much work pretending to be somebody that you're not. Okay, this guy neat. Thank you. This we'll just add another bit eventually. Eventually, there's going to be a wad of this stuff in there. I was at first point, I'm like, let's put magnets on everything. And there's just some times where just the magnets just don't freaking fit. They just don't fit. And this tack stuff is awesome stuff. I know it's a little taller than it needs to be right now, but that's fine for what the purpose is. It's still a little bit wet. Let's not jump on this yet. We do need to do the tail lights. We can do them afterwards. I don't like weathering over the tail lights anyways, because I like them to stand out a little bit. You could weather over a little bit. Let's do the weathering. All right. Chocolate brown, U.S. field drab, and not green ochre. Where are you, Iraqi sand? The other thing that really bugs me is people ask me to do something. I don't take requests on things, and it's not because I'm a dick and don't want to do what people request. It's just if you ask me to do something, I'm automatically going to have, whether I want to or not, it's just human nature, I'm going to already have this idea that it's going to be more popular. Like, all right, well, I'm just not doing whatever. I'm doing what somebody wants to see. And if I don't feel like it gets the correct response, I'm bummed out about it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like, I need to do what I need to do to keep the ball rolling. And, but it's like, oh, let me do a video on how you paint something. And I was actually doing this. I was doing this with tanks. I'm like, okay, I can do a video of how I paint the Panzer gray or whatever. Because, like, I feel like it turns out really well. And it's something that people aren't really happy with generally. And they always ask me about it. I'm like, all right, I'll do a video of how I paint it. So I lined up the computer, and I don't have anybody. I'm an army of one, right? I'm the painter. And I know how to edit videos because I've seen commercials, but it takes a lot of time. But I can't really keep an eye on whether or not everything is in register. So I took this video and I did multiple steps, and I go back and look at it, and like everything is out of register. It's like I was painting stuff and it was like off the screen, and I got so bummed out about it. I'm like, I can't do this again. I can't put this much heart in something and then be misrewarded, or I'm going to get bummed out about the hobby. So I'm like, I'm not doing it. And it's not because I don't want to share the stuff that I found out, it's just that it's just a lot of work, Occasionally you'll watch stuff you've missed. Well, luckily, my time, this is getting out of control. This chaos here. My time, because I'm an early riser, works pretty good for you Europeans. What it doesn't work good is for my local players, because everybody that's local and is retired seems to be a night fucking owl. And, I can't stay till 2 o'clock in the morning. And then on a work day, when I got to get up at 5, I got to get up at 5 so I'm not rushed. I got to revert. I'm like, I don't know where it got that these, retired people get up early or old people get up early, but that isn't the fucking case. I got all old people that are lazy fuckers and stay in bed. So it works well for you guys, you know. But I've been getting up early for over 2 decades. I've been on this schedule for over 2 decades now. And I like it. And yeah, it means like Friday night, I went to sleep at 9. You know, I can't be like, hey, let's play a game at midnight. Fuck that. I ain't playing that. That screws up my next morning. Was I ever that way? Hell yeah. But, I was also in my 20s. But I hate going to work. I hate it. Can you imagine how much I'd hate it if I have to get up extra early on a work day? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, chocolate brown and all the muddy parts. And some of it will come up here. Sorry about covering up some of that flag with the mud. No offense to you British people. Your own politicians have fucked up your own Union Jack more than I have. That's probably enough of that. Enough of that. U.S. Field Drab. Yeah, I don't want to keep all the secrets to myself. Why? I may share something with you guys that keeps you from having analysis paralysis. I've learned a lot of shit on the internet for free. Like, might as well give it back, You had a lie-in today, 5:50 a.m. You stayed in later. I woke up at 2:47. And then I got to go back to bed. And I surfed and eventually went back. Well, I was still in bed. Can't do that. There we go. But you got to do the stuff that you like for yourself. And if other people want to come along, that's cool. Because if you just rely on other people, like if I relied on the people that I play with to comment and enjoy my content, I'm telling you, I get no response from people that I play the game with. And you'd think that they'd be the ones that'd be excited. Like, oh man, that's a cool car. I can't wait till we use it next Saturday. Nothing. Nothing but crickets. And I'm like, they're allowed to be that way. That's fine. But, my happiness doesn't rely on them being happy. I got to do what happened, what makes me happy. So if I'm doing something in this hobby and it doesn't benefit me, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm fine if it benefits other people, but if it's not something I want to do, I don't want to do it. As people say, I don't know how you have so much time to paint this. I said, well, I don't watch any television. Television is a waste of fucking time. You don't make any decisions. You just sit there and watch. If you watch it or don't watch it, it turns out the same. Like, why bother? It's usually a bullshit narrative. It's either predictable or stupid or both. TV's not for me. Do I watch things on TV? Yeah, sometimes, but I usually watch things on TV with people I can't play games with. I don't use any special mud products. All that stuff is just, hey, buy more shit. I know you bought all our products, but there's some you don't have. We're coming up with more stuff. I mean, come on, man. We all have limited incomes. This stuff works just fine. I went to a seminar that was held earlier this year, and it just happened to be that it was held in a town that I was already in for a wedding. I was already in the Tampa Bay area. And there was a seminar that, with Ammo MIG paints, was being held by Mr. MIG himself. And I'm like, all right, well, it might be kind of cool to meet him and, see what kind of insight. Maybe he'll give me some clues about something I can do better. And you had to buy like this starter set. It was like $100. And then the seminar was free. So like, that's a fair trade, right? Like you buy his product and then the seminar is free. And it was like a 3-hour seminar or something like that. I ended up getting nothing out of it because it was like so many people were at a less advanced level than I was that, I was like the smart kid in the algebra class. Like I wasn't getting anything out of it. And I ran out of time, and sure enough, they were supposed to cover 10 topics and they only got through 2 of them because some people were just slowing the class down with like basic questions, like they didn't, So, but I got these products. I'm like, all right, well, I'll get to experiment with them, and maybe it'll be a time to, I'll find some cool stuff that some of these products will help me with. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think I'll even use them because, like, sometimes you just have self-doubt. You're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. So then, you sometimes you just don't need to doubt yourself. You realize, look, I'm happy with how things turn out. I'm consistent in how I apply them. They get good results. There's some methods of painting this stuff that I'm just 100% against. And I'm not saying that I need to convert you to how I do them, but I don't want to be converted. I mean, I'm never going to prime in white, ever, ever, never. I'm a black primer guy. Sorry, it's easy. It brings me peace of mind. I've done it forever. It works for me. If you want to prime in the main flesh color of the figure, go right. I'm not stopping you. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just saying there's reasons that we all do stuff, and I'm not on a crusade to change people. I really don't care. You know. So I'm not painting in enamels. Not going to do it. If you want to paint enamels, sure. I've done my time with enamels. I'm used to like no smell, no, water cleanup works great. I actually had a virtual model meeting where one of the people on there, I didn't know the guy, but the guy was like, went on a tirade, so to speak, about why I was stupid for still using acrylics. I haven't been on it yet. Like, you can go fly a kite up your own ass, with barbed twine. I'm not here to convert people. Well, that heavy metal painting guy, man, they painted and it just works. Like, I don't want something hidden in the shadows that's gleaming at you. But probably more than that, more than even priming in white, I am dead set against using dusty colors that's going to leave a light color in a recess. Yes, it looks realistic. I don't want that kind of realism. Like the way to paint tires realistically, right, is the dirt's going to be in the crevices. So like dirt and sand in a dark spot will actually be light. It's counterintuitive. It's like you got to like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So my styling is like that just doesn't work with the style that I paint in. That's it, you know. And if I'm not converting, I mean, I understand why, uh, chipping. I'm not a fan of chipping. I think it's even when it's done well, it looks weird to me. You know, so I'm not saying people that chip don't do a good job. It doesn't appeal to me. You know, you started watch TV with a wife after 20 plus years of her nagging. Well, there's some, I don't like watching television that is something that the wife would enjoy that I would watch by myself. There's a lot of programming that I think is really funny that, we can watch as a family. Um, there's a lot of, most of it sucks. Like anything that's reality, forget it. I'm not interested in watching that. But there's some, there's some funny stuff out there. All right. Los drippings. All right, let's get Tony's tones out here, as Jeffrey likes to call them. Mid brown, light tone, and it's just too easy to do it this way for me. There might be better ways, but man, we got this shit down. And one of the fears that I always had is that I'll paint something and then I'll paint something in such a different way that you won't be able to tell that it's the same person. And I that's not really a problem that has occurred. Yeah, it makes it look darker. Well, the other thing is I'm painting in like perfect light. It may not be perfect for you guys, but I'm telling you, for me, it's like it looks great here. And the problem is it's so bright that it creates kickback for you guys. So it ends up looking more washed out than it really is. You just have to trust me on that. And the human eye is so damn advanced. You'll look at something, oh, it looks great. You take a picture of it, what the hell happened? It's like, what the hell happened? The human eye is just like an incredible and a marvel. It is a marvel. All right. Where is this rusty bastard going to drip? All right. Well, we're going to have some corrosion here at the handles. And then in between these plates. And of course, when it gets to here, it's going to want to drip down. And it's going to want to drip down there. And then the moisture is going to do there. Okay. I love doing this little like make believe. And if I'm not talking about it, I'm thinking it as I'm doing it. Like we got these little rusty nails here on the outside. And they're all dripping and stuff. The whole thing is you got to make every vehicle look interesting. Like when you're painting T-34 tanks, I don't know, I got 40 T-34 tanks, probably something like that. I like to think that they're all interesting. Well, they're all green. Well, yeah, but they've got slogans, etc. Not one is the same as a different one. This is actually one of the longest builds I've done. It's not a complaint. It's just an observation. I'm actually going to go ahead and get some of this to get underneath there. And then, oh, when it rusts here, oh, some of it's going to go down. Now, I don't know what's going on here with the rear, with the tag. We may do something with that, but that's going to be like a small detail later. Got to make everything look interesting. We got some. Damn, another car doesn't have the fuel thing. I like it when they have the fuel opening and you make drippings there of the fuel. Let me put my glasses on. See what this thing looks like. I really like this fucker. That's the whole point. And in my world, there's really bad acid rain. So things rust like a motherfucker. I don't want these cars looking like they came out of a showroom. And this particular brand thins so well with water. It's crazy. It's crazy how well this thin. It's like it behaves exactly how you want it to. Yeah, everybody was swearing by those Tamiya, the Tamiya stuff, and I'm a Tamiya model fan. I used to be a fan of their paints back when enamels were thin, but that enamel based Tamiya line stuff, I don't think it behaves any better than this. Let's go a little bit more orange like. Maybe I won't paint the Vickers canister. Maybe we'll just stain it with this. Like it's just a different color metal. That should work. Got to figure out what we're going to do here in the back here pretty soon. All right, let's get to the front where it's got rust. It got rust all over it, written all over it. Now, I wouldn't have done all this if I didn't want to cover up the taxi thing. Taxi just didn't, having taxi written on it just didn't give the right look I was looking for. And they reformulated these damn things. So if I want to go rebuy them, I don't like which one's mid brown now. You know, it's like I got to be changing shit. It's like when you go to the grocery store, they rearrange everything in there. Oh, it makes people go to the grocery store. No, it makes dudes like say "fuck you." You know, we want we want to go in and get out. You know, I don't want to go and solve something that's already been solved. There we go. This mixture of these things just keeps everything from not being the same damn color. I don't know how I happened upon that. I just freaking did it. And it works for me. All right, this actually based on some vehicle. Seems like that little piece should be chrome. I don't have to put a license plate on it, but say looking pretty damn good. Of course, it's a little shiny in places it shouldn't be shiny. Look through the viewfinder here. You know, it's looking colorful and dirty at the same time. Yeah, we got to do something to the back there. Just to give it the same kind of treatment, so to speak. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, the whole is that you get to play this and it looks cool, right? It can't just be like, whatever, multicolored, whatever, you know? And the whole point will be making this look like it's cool. You know, some things look cool on their own. All right, so the back of this seems like it's some kind of a mini. Let's see what the back of a mini looks like. I love this car stuff, man. It's just cool. Morris Mini. Morris Mini rear. Let's see if we have some similarities there. Not really. Not really. But what we are going to do is, I don't know if there's supposed to be some kind of make-believe. Yeah, I'm glad you like it, Kevin. Kind of make-believe. I'm going to make this license plate's really. Is it that thing above it? I'll paint it. I'll paint it yellow. Add a little touch of color, anyways. What's this thing called? Cockney Cab. All right. What year is this? 2005. Okay. All right. So we're going to go in here and go. Let's do a search for. Is the Hot Wheels Cockney Cab based on a real car? Based on a real-world vehicle, the classic British London black cab, specifically inspired by models from the late 1950s, but given a classic Hot Wheels hot rod treatment. Engine and custom features designer Howard Rhodes. Okay, so Cockney cab based on a London black cab. All right, so we're going to look for, let's open up another window, and we're going to do a search for London black cab. Rear. Images. Okay, so here is, it looks like there's two plates. This is a yellow one, and this one in particular is a white one. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint this one yellow and the other one white underneath it. I think if I were to do this, I would use cars rather than Hot Wheels. Well, the problem is there isn't that many. There aren't that many unknowns. There aren't that many unknowns. I use them all. I'm not opposed to using any of them. I'm just they're hard to find. Yellow. Okay. And then white on the other one. So let's get some yellow here. Let's get some white. Geez, tripping all over itself. What kind of a number do they have? I'm not gonna just paint it. It looks like there's 7 digits on the white one, and the top one has 6. Okay. Well, we can certainly put numbers on that. That's well within our skill set. I think if those yeah, there's just not that many. There's just not that many odd things you've never. I mean, I wish there were. I mean, it's let's get up here. Yeah, this is the one that when this one gets loose, the problem. That one doesn't like to tighten itself up very much. Okay. But you can't go to a store and get Hot Wheels because there isn't any variety. Because they don't they make a whole bunch of different cars, but they also discontinue them and then release them later and all that extra drama and bullshit. I'm going to use black. Some people disagree about using black with it. I happen to like it. Maybe not that damn watery. Again, if you have something that's difficult covering it, you can always stipple it. Just got to get the flow right so it'll stay on there. So you're not like putting on paint and wiping it off in the same move kind of thing. There we go. And then do the same thing down here with white. We're going to have to change that color yellow. It's a little too lemony. And then we're going to put black lining around that. Let's do something crazy. Not that crazy if it works. I wanted a darker wash than these other ones that I have. Got to be careful not to push the pawn on that middle one there. Now, does anything else need a recess? It didn't come out recessed enough. Yeah, these door panels right here, this needs to have more oomph. There we go. Nice. Now, what the hell are we going to put on the back of it? What the hell are we gonna do on the back?
It's black lettering on both of them, luckily. Some of these actually has London written on the back of it.
Now, I don't care if I use that many digits. There's something back here. We're going to put a H right in the middle. You paint license plates? I said, well, it's empty. I got to do something with it. Looks awkward the way it is. I think I intentionally put CY6 on the bottom of it. Check your 6. I'm not going to be able to put the top one yet. It's a little too wet. It's picking up some of it. Anyhow, so we're well on our way to getting this thing completed. I'm probably going to go ahead and post pictures of it now. And then we'll add those details in later. While I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead, and I've got black out here. Let's go ahead and finish up the stuff that we need to finish up on this thing. This thing has a horn. And then one over here. Oh, it's still early. And these little cab lights on the front. Painting the front half of them black. So we can put little light colored things. Okay. All right, are we ready now? Yep. That'll work for now. Okay, so I'm going to consider this thing done, other than, it has not been it had not been clear coated. But other than that, this guy is complete. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.